First of all, good morning to all of you. And there are a few people I want to thank you first from CHT, Agrawal sir, Gorang and Lav Kumar, and our ED project is also there, Mr. Anup Gupta, and our team from GTI. Because of them, I am here to present a case. Propane dehydrogenation technology, which we are commonly calling as a PDH technology, it may be a new technology as far as India is concerned, but if we go by like last 2 decades, there have been a lot of advances and there are development in the catalyst section also, and operation point of view, a lot of efficiency factor has been taken care. So that's why I am discussing about the advances in the propane dehydrogenation technology and with a sustainable propylene supply. So before going and discussing about the PDH technology, I'd like to highlight what is the present global propylene market, and then the different production route propylene we are having, and then how the regional capacity evaluation has been happening worldwide, and then why we are going for PDH and what are the demand factors which are being considered as far as PDH is concerned. And then technology point of view, there are various companies like UOP, KBR, they are having Lamas also, and then UOP, they are discussing about the technology factors as far as efficiency is concerned. And then GAIL, we are setting up a first PDH-PP plant at Usar near Alibag in Maharashtra. And then one of the important factors which is being considered with PDH is that we are getting, since we are hydrogenating propane, we are getting propylene and hydrogen. So since we are discussing the hydrogen is a buzzword right now with the National Green Hydrogen Mission. So I think hydrogen also plays an important factor as far as energy requirement is concerned, as far as India is concerned. And then normally any process which is there, there are challenges, there are efficiency factors we need to take care. And in that sense, there are some challenges. And then lastly, conclusion. So as we all know, propylene is second most essential starting product in the petrochemical sector after ethylene. And basically polypropylene is the key derivative which normally accounts for around 2/3 of total propylene consumption. And propylene we have been using for our production of chemicals like cumene, propylene oxide, then acrylic acid, alcohols and other chemicals. And the major growth drivers, which normally includes for propylene, polypropylene industry, packaging, then automotive, construction, textile, and consumer goods industries. As we see that there is a definite propylene production increase over the last 2 decades, I say, and the more so in the future, there is a production of around 200 MMTPA by 2030. And the global propylene market size is also going to estimated at a CAGR of around 3.76, which is normally considered as a bulk commodity like propylene, as a very fairly a good demand. And the Asia Pacific, which normally consists by China and Japan, they are the key, and also India is coming up with that. So Asia Pacific continues to be a demanding global propylene consumption production. And then USA presently is being benefiting because of the abundant shale gas reserve they have discovered. And it's also cost effective, and there is a lot of demand factor as far as packaging, automotive and construction sector is concerned. So we'll be discussing, I mean, most of people must be knowing about how the propylene is being produced, but there are certain processes. Most commonly is the steam cracking of ethane and naphtha, where, I mean, if we crack ethane, we are getting a smaller share of propylene, but then we are, if we are cracking a heavier hydrocarbon naphtha, then we are getting a comparatively a higher content of propylene. Then obviously in refining sector, we are having fluid catalytic cracking, where we are cracking the vacuum gas oil, we are getting lighter products like LPG, gasoline, then propylene. And then of course the propane dehydrogenation is basically on-purpose production of propylene from propane. So we'll be discussing more about that in details. And then there is also olefin conversion technology, which normally the metasis reaction is there with the ethylene and butane, and then we are getting this propylene. And then the there's also one technology is coming of methanol to olefin where apart from crude, like we are having natural gas, coal, from that also we can produce olefin. So if we share-wise, there is around 45% of propylene production route is coming through the steam cracking, and then fairly share of around 30% from FCC, and then we are having around 16% of PDH. That's a lot. Last decade, there have been a lot of plant set up, especially in China. So because of that, the percentage is increasing globally, and then other routes are contributing around 9%. So let us see how the regional distribution is there, global propylene market. If you see like North America, it's a stable growth led by USA around 26%. More importantly, 41% growth is there, which is led by China in Asia Pacific region. Europe is fairly stable at 24%, and then the Middle East and other markets is around like 9%. So if we see last decade, PDH has shown rapid growth in capacity addition, majorly because of driven by the growth by China and USA. If you see the share, which is highlighted in the green portion, fairly for last decade or so, there is a increase in the PDH plants. So what is the reason why we are emphasizing on the PDH plant? As Mr. Paul also highlighted regarding the propane to propylene. So if you see the PDH offers as the on-purpose conversion of propane to propylene, offering the significantly higher propylene yields when compared to traditional naphtha cracking and FCC and new MTO process. So if you see the graph, we can get a very high single pass conversion and high yield with the propylene. So if you see global recognition, China alone has commissioned around like 20 PDH plants, and it has a combined capacity exceeding like 15 million tons per year. And then North America is also fastest growing PDH market is coming up with the projects in Texas and Louisiana. And obviously, if you see the propylene, there's definitely a demand factors right now, but the kind of current situation which we are emphasizing with the current geopolitical situations, but maybe that is a very temporary phenomena. There is a chance that the themes will get stabilized, and then we can have a definite market there. More so, the lower reaction temperature also make it more energy efficient compared to steam cracking, and reducing the environmental impact and aligning with our sustainability goal. As I said, high pass conversion is also there and yield is also there with this on-purpose propane to propylene. Another is that we are getting as a byproduct, that is a hydrogen. And if you see the cracker units and all, we need to have a hydrogenation unit separately to make it a more stable saturated product. So that kind of hydrogenation is not required in this. Straight away we are getting, it's a very simple process and we are getting straight away from propylene to propylene after dehydrogenation. And as an operation point of view, we get a very quicker time to start up and make products. So that is also an advantageous part. And then we are having easier and shorter turnarounds, which makes a very able case. And then another important factor is that the catalyst, which is like chromium alumina based, it's also a noble catalyst. So the price wise also there is a different advantage here. And of course, there is no chlorine or caustic handling as we see in steam cracker, where we are having downstream part consisting of quench towers and all. So it's a simple process which we can see that we are just preheating the propane and then straight away fitting it to reactors where we are getting the dehydrogenation, and then whatever effluent we are getting, we are processing it to get the product. There are fairly technologies which are available, and it depends on how cost-wise and what is best suited for your process. Like Lummus Cadofin technology is there, which uses the fixed bed reactor and is known to have high yield of propylene at low operating cost. Then UOP is also developed catalysts, and they are also coming up with the catalyst reagent system to convert propane to propylene. Then obviously FCC hydrogenation is also there, developed by Dow Chemical. And then the STAR process is there, which is normally developed by the Philip Petroleum and now licensed by Thasin Group Uday. KBR also is having a technology where they are saying it's a low-cost catalyst and a fluidized bed reactor where we can get this PDH. As far as GAIL is concerned, we are coming up with India's first PDH technology, PDH-PV project. This is, said, this location at Usar, Alibag in Raigad, Maharashtra. We are having EPCM Engineers India Limited, and the technology for PDH unit is Lamas Technology USA, and for PP it's Grace Technology. So it's a very simple process. We are getting feed from our Uran jetty, and then we are having the terminal there, and then we are having a 12-inch 45-kilometer pipeline, and then we are feeding it to our PDH unit, and we are getting C4 mix, heavier, and then hydrogen also, and then from propane to we get propylene, and then we are feeding it to our PP unit. So if you see the licensed PDH process is a CATOFIN, because we are going with the Lamas technology. So it's a very simple process. We are having like 5 reactors, 2 will be on reaction side, 2 will be on regeneration, and 1 will be in evacuation. So after getting this propylene, then we are compressing it, and then we are having separation, then lightened and heavier, and then we are getting propylene, and the rest is back to recycle as propane. So it's a very simple catalyst, simple process where we are getting dehydrogenating propane, and we are getting propylene. Now, as I said, hydrogen also we are getting as a byproduct, and presently hydrogen being a very clean, versatile, abundant fuel, so it has an opportunity where definitely there is a potential to transform the global energy landscape with that. And in PDH, hydrogen is produced as a valuable byproduct, and it's already equipped with a pressure swing adsorption unit to produce high purity, low carbon intensity hydrogen, thus enhancing the environmental footprint also. So we are presently using this hydrogen for our fuel requirement also, and then there is a availability of surplus hydrogen. And if we integrate with that our the CCUS units, and there is a potential to have a more cleaner hydrogen also. So obviously there are challenges with the technology, and it's up to us how we work on that. And as we say that there is a issue, if there is an issue with the catalyst deactivation, because there is a cold buildup over the period of operations. So how we operate with the high temperatures and performance point of view, that is an important factor. Then energy efficiency also remains always a important factor, since as we see steam cracking, there is a very high energy intensive plant. So in that way, PDH is offering us a more energy efficient, and improving heat integration and reducing losses always be a challenge there. And obviously when we are going for any process, economics and competitive always plays an important part. It depends on how we source the propane, what the cost of propane, which is there, because when we are going for online on-purpose production, definitely the cost of propane will play an important role, and if, the differential part will have a different advantage in getting the profitability over the propylene market. And then I have talked about the hydrogen part. If you put the carbon capture and storage and utilization, that definitely that investment part will be there, but in long run that will produce a lot of advantages as far as hydrogen is concerned. So in a conclusion, I can say that definitely there is a market there for PDH, and it experiencing significant growth globally, as I have said, shown to you that especially China is coming with a lot of plants. And India's role also is increasing rapidly in the petrochemical industry, and the supportive government policy is also playing a key player. I mean, after GAIL Petro LNG is also coming up with second PDH plant. And then the on-purpose production advantage is always there since it's an efficient route of getting propylene. And the innovation part is always be a part in the this technology, because how the catalyst development process optimization is done, it depends on that how this PDH industry will go forward. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.